Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Thanks for tuning in today. I've got a viewer question that I want to answer. And before I do that, I just want to say thanks to all of you that have subscribed to the channel. We're definitely seeing some growth right now. I want to make sure that those of you that are not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button. Leave a like, leave a comment if you like what you see or there are things that you want me to talk about. But I appreciate it all. So hit that subscribe button. So the question today that I want to talk about or answer has to do with my line choice. And the specific question that I received is, what pound line do I use for certain techniques? And, you know, overall, I like to keep things relatively simple in the boat. Just like with my plastic color selection, I don't like to have 35 different selections of color. I'm pretty similar with my lines as well. I don't like to have, you know, rods rigged with 10, 12, 15, 17, 20 like pound tests. I like to keep things simple. It means I got to carry less line, but it also means I feel like I get a better feel as to how my baits function with those pound tests versus, you know, one day I'm throwing a chatterbait on 15 pound, one day I'm throwing it on 17, and you know, I like to keep things pretty straightforward. So having said that, I'm going to break it down into a couple categories: my spinning reels, my bait casters, and then like heavy tackle fishing. So with my spinning tackle, every one of my spinning reels, I have 10 pound Berkley X9 high vis. This is the high vis flame green color is what it's called. I have this as my main line in 10 pound test. And then to that, I either throw a 6, an 8, or a 10 pound 100% trilene fluorocarbon leader. And the way I decide the 6, 8, or 10 pound test is it's all based on watercolor. If I'm fishing what I consider to be very clear water, which is 4 feet of visibility or more, I'll go with 6 pound test. If I've got like 2 to 4 foot visibility, so it's kind of that milky color, I'll go with 8 pound test fluorocarbon leader. And then if it's anything dirtier than that, generally I'm not throwing that many spinning reels in those conditions, but if it's dirtier, then I'll have a 10 pound fluorocarbon leader. And that's really my straightforward approach with my spinning reels. So, you know, it's the 10 pound X9 high vis color backing, and then based on the watercolor, a leader. And generally my leaders are going to be the length of my rod for sure. So at least 6 foot long. I like to have as much, you know, as much length between my bait and my braided line, as much as I feel like it needs to be in order to make sure that I'm not losing bites. I do feel like if I have a leader that's only a foot or 2 feet long, I don't get as many bites. So I like to at least have the length of my rod, which is going to be 6 to 7 feet. So that's my spinning gear. When it comes to my bait casting gear, I am a huge fan of 15 pound fluorocarbon. Again, I use the 100% Berkley trilene. And I use 15 pound tests pretty much on everything, like across the board. All of my casting reels, whether I'm throwing a swim jig or throwing a Texas rig, you know, any of that, and pretty much every moving bait I'll throw on 15 pound test. The exception to that is 2 things. If I'm throwing crankbaits, generally that's going to be on 10 or 12 pound test, just because I want to get deeper diving depths out of my bait, and I feel like I can do that with a little lighter line. And then the second exception to that is if I'm fishing gin clear water again. If I'm fishing, say, the Great Lakes, and I'm using a bait caster for smallies, I'll drop down the 10 pound 100% fluorocarbon. But that's really the only time I'll drop lower than 15 pound is for my crankbaits, or if I'm fishing gin clear water and I need like I'm throwing a moving bait kind of just in the open water, like a swim bait, you know, a small jerk bait or something like that. So, you know, the next level up from that would be if I'm fishing heavy cover. So if I'm, you know, flipping into milfoil, or down in Florida flipping hyacinths, or just fishing really heavier or thicker weeds or thicker cover, and I know I'm around better quality fish, I will up to just straight braided line. And then at that point, I'm usually going to be throwing 50-pound braid. This is the X5 Berkeley that I like. I like the green color. And I just feel like at that point, if I know I'm fishing around really big fish and I'm in really heavy cover, I need to be able to get those fish out, and I'm willing to substitute a few of the bites that I might be missing out on by using fluorocarbon, with the hopes that my landing percentage is gonna go up. So that's really what it comes down to. I do throw some Berkeley. Oop, well, that's coming apart. I do throw some trilene, some XL trilene, and the only thing I throw that for is topwater baits. And in that case, it's usually 15-pound Berkeley trilene XL as well. But that's my line breakdown. It's really pretty straightforward. I'm not one that says, okay, you know, I'm throwing this bait, so now I got to have this pound test. It's for me, it's about keeping the same line across the board, or trying to, so that I know how my baits are going to react by using that line. So that's my information for you. I hope that's helpful. I hope that answers the viewer's question. Guys, it's another one of those things. It's a confidence thing. It's about making sure you're using the line that you feel comfortable with, not necessarily the line that you're being told by others to use. And, you know, this is just my recommendation to you. It's really how I break it down. And it all works great. So that's my information for you. Like I said, subscribe to the channel, leave a like, leave a comment. I appreciate all you watching. Thanks for tuning in.